Android Studio. Just compare the Android Studio, some of the concepts in Android Studio. You can compare with the iOS IDE. Probably will understand very clearly. Uh, Most of the content are similar, but the key terms and the words name which is used is little different. But there also we use the views. Here also we are using the views. So there it is a design. It is called as here storyboard. The flow of the activities. Okay. So most of the similar types, even both are targeted to mobile application only. There it is targeted to Android devices, Android supporting devices. Here it is targeted to the Apple supporting devices. Okay. So already we have seen this complete structure of a simple application, Hello World. So just go to the left part of this screen. So Hello World is a project title which is given. It have the delegate.h header file and view controller.h header file. So supporting file to that application. So application delegate.m mobile main storyboard, then view controller.m. Then after that supporting files, in that supporting files, the resources which is going to be used in the uh, iOS app development. Then frameworks, three kind of frameworks: core graphics, GUI, utility frameworks, and one more, right? So then products. So looking into the project explorer, your targeted device which you targeted is iPhone device. Target version is 5. Identifier is the path of absolute path of the application. The main storyboard is used. Orientation it supports is portrait, upside and downside, and landscape. Then identity of that project name is Hello World. Location it specify the path of the full path of that particular Hello World. Then project document, project format. It uses the Xcode IDE 3.2 version. Organization is in our case it's a BMSIT. Text settings. Spaces is used between the text, wrap lines, etc. and so on. This is the when you create the new project, upon open the home screen, this it is look like this. Then controls in the view are view controller.h. So from the project navigator, select the main storyboard file. When you click view story main story.1, it will appears the design window. So design window, in that case, you can use drag and drop option to create the label. And when you click on a particular label view, at the right part of the screen, property of that label is going to be get display. You can set the name of the text, number of lines it will support, then behavior is enabled, means it accept the user clicks, then baseline align center of the device, line breaks, alignment, etc. See the text color, the highlighted shadow, other things are listed at the right part of the screen of a label view. And also you can observe the view, then object. Here the name of the object is label. Here at the right part bottom objects, you can use the drag and drop option to place the views onto a design screen. So one example, by clicking on that text, in this clicking on text, the new value is going to be inserted. This is a simple code of execution. How it is written in Objective C, it's just an example to make you understand how you can write the code for the event handling. So with the UI completed and wired up, you can now tell your app what you want the touch event to do when touched. So to do this, open the view controller.m file. View controller.m is a file which exists with the project supporting, and add the following method. See, LB action is label action, button change, text, click is the method you are defining, colon, sender. ID is the parameter you are passing of the text ID to the method sender. Click is an on-click event. When the button on click is going to be clicked, in this case, when you click on the button, so it is going to set the new view as new string, as new text as my new text, and label change me dot txt. Label change me dot txt is going to set the new text. This new value of that label is replacing the existing label content. Then ns log, whatever it is appear, it will appear in the log file as a new text. Means you are changing the name of the label by new my new text. It is appearing by clicking on this label. How you can handle the on click events in the iOS using Objective C? This is a one simple example. What is this minus? It is a method instance. It is not a class instance. Minus means method instance. Plus means class instance. Getting what we discussed. Then see, observe here, when you run the simulator, previously the label was my text. When you click on that, my new text is going to be appears onto a screen. This is the log window at the right of the screen. All the log activities, it is going to be happen here. So you are also displaying that text which is appeared ns log. It is appearing as my new text, which comes from hello world application. MAC address of that is written here. Okay. So look into the code. You can take a screenshot of it, or you can note down. Minus is written. It is because it is an instance of the method class. So LB action is label action, typecasting, button change text. Text button is going to be changed when you click and by sending the ID of that button to the sender method. Then the new string you are setting as my new text. Then label change me dot text equal to, you are setting new text to the current label which is going to be set, and the same is going to be displayed as a log display also. It is written here. Okay. Next, user interface. user interface. See, the Derby app is an app application. Derby is a one kind of gaming application, like Turf Club. They are using a Turf Club members are using the Derby app. So this Derby app, I am going to use the Windows phone to discuss the Derby app application because most of the content is similar. You can Derby app which will have the jockey numbers and the horse numbers and who is investing the money onto the uh, gambling. So this is the Derby app. It contain a list of data. So you use table views throughout the application to show the information to the user. Who he is so it is the application. It is showing to the user like when you click on Derby app, it is going to display the data in the form of tabular form. So now who is in first place, who is in second place, which horse is going fast, how much amount is used on that horse, etc. All such kind of information it is going to display in the form of table. So I'll discuss more on Derby app using the Windows phone, not from the uh, Apple. Look into the template for new project. Tabbed application, you can select the tabbed application to develop the Derby app. Other useful things in iOS is GPS again, global positioning system, how it work in the Android Studio also. So other useful things we will discuss on this iOS is GPS service, global positioning system. So almost it is again analogy to your Android GPS. Clear? Fine. So all these sessions we discussed the uh, iOS, basics of iOS to basics of Objective C, how Objective C can be a logical code of iOS. We have seen a simple example of click button, how we can handle the exception, all those stuffs we have discussed in the iOS. This about the content which is given in your syllabus. So before going to learn the Windows phone, is there any doubt in iOS related concepts? Just I'll go with suppose if you are interested, iOS GPS, iOS GPS. So getting the user's location using iOS GPS. Are you able to visible the getting the user's location
Yes,
website?
sir.
Right. See, the overview is core location offers three different services for fetching the user's location. Which are those services? Each service offers different benefits and comes with different power and authorization requirements. So you can use a single service or you can use the multiple services at different times depending on your needs. The one first service is visits location service. Visits location service. Second one is significant change location service. The third one is standard location service. So visits location service is a way to gather the location data. This delivers location updates when the user has spent time in one location and then moves on. Each update includes both the location and the amount of time spent at that location. See, we can keep track of a person who has spent more time on a particular location physically. So we can collect such kind of the information using the location service of iOS location service, that is visits location service. This services is not intended for navigation or other real-time activities. Means most of the time it is a static in nature. Means if the phone moves around the campus or only it is rather than calculating the navigation movements, just it is calculating how much time in the same location that person has spent. Instead, use it to identify patterns in the user's behavior. Apply that knowledge to other parts of your application. For example, a music app might prepare a workout playlist when the user leaves the house and heads to the gym. Means user movement it won't calculate, only it calculate the time, latitude and longitude of a device where it is placed in that gym hour or the class hour. So that's the one way of tracing the location of a user. The second one is significant change location service. It is alternate to the track the user's location, but do not need frequent updates or the precision offered by the GPS. This service rely on low power alternatives to determine the user's location and delivers updates only when significant changes to that location occur. See, for example, if you are uh, this might uses the service to deliver suggestion for nearby points of interest when the user is working. For example, it is the again it is compared to the previous service. It is little dynamic. It based on the nearest location to find the nearest locations of a particular service. So you can go with this significant change locations. Means yes, when user is static sitting in one position, when he or she moves from one position to another position, drastic if any drastic changes happen in the longitude and latitude, then only it notify, otherwise it won't. In such cases, this second type of service is used. Standard location service, it is generic purpose solution. In real time, this service uses significantly more power than the other location, but it delivers the most accurate and immediate location information. So usually standard location service which will be used in the case of taxis, means the vehicle tracking systems. Okay. Uh, Let us look into the some coding of coding part of handling location in the background. See here, it uses the Swift concept, so allows background location updates property of CL location manager object to set to true. So this is a background services you need to be set in the core location that have. Okay. So suppose language is shift here. If it is written in Objective C content, it is going to be display. C location manager. Say Objective C content. C location manager is the class, the object that used to start and stop the delivery of location related events in your application. So to declare the class in Objective C, art interface is used. Location manager extends the NS object. NS object is the basic class for all the objects. Okay, just refer the developer.apple.com. You are able to understand some of the built-in services of the location of 3 different variants. Now, Derby app in iOS. We'll go with the Derby app to develop in the iOS. The idea of the Derby app is to build the same app over all of the mobile platforms. Like how we are using the default universal program is Hello World to display the Hello World from C program to till the advanced the Python program to before with writing with that, right? So most of the time we are using the hello world. In the same way, in the mobile application development process, Derby app is a common app which is used across all the mobile platforms. So the iOS version is similar to the program built in Android. Following are the steps to be followed. The first step is user interface needs to be defined. Then second step is team roster. The team roster is the table which provides the detail about the team members and their credentials and details, leagues and team names. So these are the 4 different steps needs to be followed. User interface, first we need to design the storyboard of the story of the Derby app. Then needs to build the tables like leagues and team names, tables, details and team roster. So user interface, the Derby app contains a list of data. So you use the table views throughout the application to show the information to the user. Start by creating a new labeled application within Xcode. So the screenshot which it is used is tabbed application. This tabbed application is used to create the Derby app. So by default, Xcode creates a new iOS application. See, you look into the storyboard. When you look into the storyboard consists of a tab bar controller and the view controller and tab view, table view. So connecting view to tab bar. Then the second is team roster. With the storyboard in place, you can now write the code to populate the table views. Start with team roster tab, which will go out to a web service and obtain a list of all the Lansing Derby Vixens. First, create a new class named Vixens View Controls. To create the new class, what is required? At interface. Name of the class is Vixen View Controller. It extends the UI table view controller class. User interface table view controller class is extended by the custom class called as Vixen View Control. So how to declare in Objective-C? At interface is used. Then at property, these are the types, data types which it is going to be used. Non-atomic and retain property. Non-atomic and return means it allow the duplicate values in the table of the Vixen View Controller class. Array list data, and the class what you declared is ended here. In the view did load method within the implementation file, add your logic to go out the web service and get the roster. This is a tables which you are going to create, and corresponding method is going to be derived from the tables. The next is details. Is the next class you need to create is detail view controller. This code that derives details that are displayed when a team is selected. When team is selected, import the framework which you are using is uikit.h. Import the framework which you are using is uikit.h. And the class interface detail view controller extends the UI table controller, and the property it uses is again non-atomic, and there we use list data here, data, another list, string list, then property ns array list data. So these two property methods you are defining for the detail view controller. And the third one is leagues and teams. Team names. List all of the team names is very similar to code you just created for displaying the roster and the details. Another class required to create called as league table view controller. Again, as import UIKit framework you are importing. A class you created as legal table view controller extends the UI table view controller. Then property non-atomic retain list data you are defining, and this class ends. Three different classes which you have created is one is Vixen's view controller, another one is detail view controller, third one is legal tab view controller, the fourth one is by default it comes with the packages UI table view controller. So after creating all the views, go back to the storyboard and attach them as shown in the figure. You do this using the identity inspector found near the upper right of the screen. So there here identity inspector is there to check whether it is connected properly or not. Map each view to the correct class that was created. Just observe attaching class to view. So clicking on the inspector here as shown in the arrow, you're clicking on the which view is going to be mapped with which other class. So this is the complete when you run the application in the simulator, it is displaying all the rosters. This is the one simple way of defining the Derby app. Derby app is it's a gambler app. Usually the horses, then players, and the gambling persons which are involved in that application. Okay. So in addition to the GPS, another set of useful things is offline storage. As usual in the offline storage, we will have a SD card in what we used in the Android Studio. We can use the SD card to save the information on the external device, and yeah, that will be portable, and you can use that external device to move the data from one mobile to another mobile phone. You can define that offline storage in iOS also. Here Android manifest.xml file, how it is there, is used to provide the permissions to store the data onto the external file. In the same way in iOS, plist which will provide the property lists are the simplest way to store information on the device. Resource r dot layout r dot id resource r class was used in the Android Studio. In the same here, plist also used. Many applications use the plist format to store application settings, information about the application, and even serialized objects. Say plist acts as a resource file in the Android Studio. There also it stores the configuration setting of an application, user permissions. If any resources used by the application is going to be mentioned there in the form of R and the manifest file. Here, a single plist is used to provide the plist format to store application settings. Means configuration of the settings of application, information about the application, that is about the app, and even serialized objects. If any objects needs to be stored externally, that is mentioned in that plist. It is best to keep the data contained in these files simple and small. Okay. So yeah, by looking into this snippet code, you are able to understand. Minus is used. It's a method level. Method level. Void is return type. Get values from a plist. You are retrieving the information which is present in the plist by invoking get values from plist method. Build the path to your plist. First, you are building the path of our resource of that plist using NSString path. Then add example of type plist. Load the plist into the directory. Then loop through each of the items in the property list and log it to display the value of each of the item present in the plist. The other set of useful things in iOS is GPS, as just now we discussed. So one simple example, code example which is given here. So GPS example, location manager, CL location manager alloc, a new instance of location manager is created as CL location manager. Then with the help of location manager dot delegate equal to self, it is referencing to the self itself. Then distance filter is used based on the longitude and latitude. It is going to calculate the location. So KCL distance filter none, get GPS data location manager dot desired accuracy equal to KCL location accuracy 100 meters. Accuracy which you can exclusively mention for GPS switch from every 100 meters from current position. So by specifying this type of the parameter, you are saving the power consumption of the device. So suppose if the person moves from 1 centimeter to another centimeter, if it consumes the battery power, then it drains the every battery power, and it will not use the phone device become unusable if it drains the much power. So rather than that, you can customize and keep the distance minimum 100 meters for every 100 meters for the new location from current point. If it is shows, means that is okay, means again it is depending on the application type which you are applying the GPS concept. If it is accurate dependency, means obviously power consumptions will be more. Okay. Is it clear? Those things which is, I hope you understand little bit about iOS, right? So we'll continue the class in the next hour. Freshly, we will start the about the Windows Phone. But as I aware that Windows phones are disappeared from the market of the mobile phones. Still, it is because it is present in your syllabus. We have to need the discuss and understand the Windows Phone. Suppose it is a lesson for the Microsoft. If Microsoft and any the other person who, if he or she is not upgrading the knowledge or updating to up to the mark of the market, nobody will not win the competition in this world. That is the lesson which is learnt from the Windows phones also. Windows phones, Nokia, then Kodak camera, then Ambassador vehicle. So those, if they are not upgraded themselves, so they are disappeared from the market. So that's why. So every one of us, we need to keep upgrading ourselves with respect to the market which needs our service. Okay, so Windows Phone is one example for that. Even though it is good looking, but it's not satisfied the end customer at it, and also uh, um, it won't liked by the most of the people like us youngster. It fails to reach the most of the customers. So the Microsoft Windows phones which are disappeared nowadays. Okay, so complete the quiz. By that time, I'll take the attendance. Thank you. We will continue about the Windows Phone from next class onwards.